What's up, Snowy family? Today we're going to talk about how your test can be a testimony. It is so important to not undervalue what you're experiencing in your life. It is something that people overlook all the time or want to try so hard to get out of that season because it creates so much pain or confusion or negativity in throughout your life. But you have to alter that thought and make it to where it does serve you, and not only serve you but serves the next person. By you going through what you're going through in your life, you are now able to help someone else. If you didn't go through what you went through, how can you help that when you get to the other side after you went through what you went through? How can you help the next man if you didn't go through that and they're going through that same struggle? And you can now be a product of the fact that you made it on the other side, and you can give them hope and a route to help them out. There's so many times where we're just rushing, so we don't even realize the steps that we did take in order to get out of these seasons. But it is more than important to truly take a step back, reflect, and truly try to find the value in why you are experiencing what you are experiencing, good and bad. And I think it's a very valuable thing to know, to not get too high or too low. Because if you get too high or too low, that means there's a level of attachment to whatever is getting you too high or too low, which can truly cause chaos or disruption to your life. And that's what you don't want. Because if a relationship goes good or something went good in business or life, and that puts you just on this high level, then that once that thing gets taken away, it's like you're on the opposite plane of that. You're gonna feel that same emotion in the negative realm. The same, it's gonna have that same magnitude, and you don't want that. So staying grounded and understanding both spectrums, the good and bad, is serving you, is making you a better version of yourself, is allowing you to propel through these problems or through these successes, because you are now going to be an opportunity for other people to seek hope and a way to get out of whatever they're getting out of, or to be in communion when things do go good. Because when things go good, if you're surrounded by people, it in a sense can make it feel better, because then you're allowing yourself, you're allowing others to truly feed off of the product of the good energy that has been transcended through whatever happened. And it's just beyond valuable to not undermine that season, whichever season it is. Truly use it and utilize it for the next man, for the next entity that is able to use that as fuel, as motivation, as a key to open whatever door they would like to open. And if we just sit and truly reflect on our lives and take ownership of certain situations that did happen into our lives, or not be naive that this thing just happened out of coincidence, to truly put the pieces together. And we're not the most high, so we're not going to understand every aspect of why our life has been constructed how it's constructed. But to do some type of research, self research, soul searching, looking in that mirror physically, spiritually, mentally, and truly trying to understand why you are in this situation. Why is the universe, the Most High, using you in this moment, in this time, to try to make a difference in the world, whatever the aspect is? But it starts first with your perception. See, if you think everything is working against you, then how can you take ownership of the way your life situation has been crafted? Now, granted, I know there are some situations that are very bad. People have been born into very harsh and disturbing and terrible life situations, but it takes a level of discernment and education in how life has been constructed to now realize, okay, this can be the fuel to get me out of this and make me a better version of myself. So maybe if I see someone else in the same life situation, I can show them I am truly able to get out of this. You are not able to help a next person truly. In my opinion, you can give advice and you can show them a certain way and how things can be created and crafted, but if you have not gone through that exact fire or that exact struggle or whatever the case is, it's hard for that person that actually is going through the struggle to truly relate, be vulnerable, and have this opportunity to grow, because that person feels like you're in such a different life situation than they are in, that it might not be possible for them to get out of it, which is why these things do happen to us in our lives, and we just we we miss out on it, and we miss out on how powerful our life is and how powerful our life can possibly be for the next man. And it takes a level of intention to even want that as well. That's also the part. If your intention is to be a better version of yourself, to help the next man, to utilize your life experience to help the next man, to experience communion with the next generation, whatever the case is, then you will be able to have an open mind and an open heart to why things are happening to you. But if your vision is only to help yourself, medicate yourself, make sure that you're good, and you don't really take into consideration what other people are feeling, or if other people can, if you can be anointed to do a service to someone else based off of your resources and life experiences, if you're not convicted that that is the way you want to live your life, then it's going to be very difficult to understand this, because you are going to always put yourself first before anyone else. And you're always going to then create this ego mindset and create this, I hate to say it like this, but a narcissistic mindset to where if you didn't do it and it's if you did it and it's successful, it was all you. If you aren't successful and it's in your life, it's someone else's fault. You create this God complex of there's nothing that I can do that's wrong. I am perfect. I am like God. And yes, we can pull a sense of the abundance, and we can add that to our life and know that if we trust that abundance, then we can reach these benefits and be a better version, be a stronger version of ourselves. And that's another story, but just from a humanity standpoint, it makes it very difficult if you just take care of yourself and you don't consider everyone else. This life is not meant to be alone, and not from just a relationship standpoint, but from a community standpoint. It says it takes a village to raise a kid. Like we're all a child to someone. So having that community, having that village, having people that will hold you accountable, will look you in your face and risk the relationship, because they know that they love you so much that they would rather not talk to you ever again than watch you go down this path and be an accomplice to it and not say anything. That is true friendship, and that is true love, because then it becomes unconditional. And and I know I get into this mind identification too, of conditional love, and it's not on purpose. It's because I feel like I have pure intentions, and when I do give myself to people in certain entities and I don't receive that reciprocation, I feel a level of resentment and betrayal, which makes me subconsciously and unconsciously move a little different. Like I'm walking on eggshells, or things that didn't really trigger me beforehand are starting to trigger me, because beforehand I would let it slide because I'm like, you know what? Everybody's human. My mom always says there's an 80-20 rule in any relationship, friendships, whatever the case is. If there's 80% that you like and can accept from someone, and there's 20% of something that you just don't like and can't accept, then that relationship can work. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the best relationship or whatever the case is, but that is going to allow you to truly at least be content with the relationship, because we genuinely are not perfect, and we're not all the same human being. Even twins can combat and have different points of views and different mindsets. So with that ideology, there's truly nobody that has been crafted the exact same. It's very important to know that you're going to have different beliefs, you're going to have different walks of life, you're going to have different perceptions of things, but it takes a level of respect and, going back to it, that unconditional love that will allow you to conform and compromise with certain relationships, and to make sure that you are doing things out of goodwill and out of good faith. And by surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same thing, it's only going to allow you to be better and propel you to any situation. And when things do happen, you can have people to lean on, because energy is a very important aspect that people don't necessarily always take into consideration. Your energy is very valuable, and through life, you're constantly exchanging energy, whether it's opening a door for someone, or especially in the work field, if you're dealing with, especially in the work service field, if you're dealing with a lot of customers and different people, like, there's so many energy exchanges by just having a conversation. And having that understanding, that knowledge to know how important it is to protect your energy and to make sure that you are projecting what you feel inside, and what you feel inside is pure, it's only going to transcend to your entire reality. And it goes beyond life, beyond business. And in the business world, it is only going to allow these partnerships and these relationships to be more pure and more grounded. You're setting a great foundation for the business because your heart is in the right place. You're doing things for people because you care. You call that client and around their child's birthday and say, "Hey, we would love to host a free birthday party for your child." We did that. We do that. We care about the kid, like, all the time. I remember I went to this one middle school because the event organizer that we did, and it was our first event at that point, and she's had to leave early because of her son's baseball game. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. We'll settle it however we need to settle it. Then the next time I saw her and conversated, I asked her how her son's season went. And you can tell how her eyes lit up, like, wow, like, you really remembered that. Like, that is amazing. Like, that is incredible. I went to Waffle House today, and I this Waffle House I love so much. It's like they really care about the customer, and it's like a little family there. And as soon as I walked in, extremely busy, like the busiest I've seen in a very long time. And as soon as I sat down, "What, you still want the triple hash browns?" And I'm like, "Yes." "Can I have 4 pieces of cheese this time? And can I have a side of white toast?" And she was like, "Yeah, no problem." Because she approached me like that and did that, all I wanted to do was make sure that she was taken care of. And I tipped her more than what the meal was, because it is, we're missing out on that so much. How important it is to just let someone know that they are heard. We go through this robotic, automated life because we have to check out so many boxes and handle so many responsibilities. We forget how important a human being really is. That's not just yourself or your immediate group. People that genuinely are good people and are constantly going into your energy field, into your ecosystem, it's important to make them feel seen. Like, my energy was completely increased. The food tasted better. It's a better experience because I'm truly seen and I feel cared for. And that's what we do at Snowy Atlanta. We want you to feel seen. We want you to feel heard. And no matter what your age is, no matter what demographic you are, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we all bleed blood. We all hate to get kind of demised, but we all have an expiration date. We all have a short term lifespan on this material world. And to know that, it makes it even more valuable to hone in on these conversations and truly make sure that anybody that you talk to has some type of merit to it. It's not just, oh, I'm buying time, or I'm just passing time, whatever the case is. Or a lot of people like say, I'm just making small talk to kill the time. Why not truly have a good, genuine conversation? I'm not saying try to figure out their grandma's name or their social security. Like, no, I'm not saying all that, but I'm saying let someone genuinely feel heard and feel attentive. Like, I know that somebody is listening to me, especially let's say I bring up something that I really care about. You know, someone cares if they keep asking you questions about that. That is, and I make sure to do that because I have a genuine heart and I genuinely care. And if it makes you feel this good, it doesn't matter what scale it is on. It doesn't matter. If it makes you feel that good, I'm going to keep asking you so you can be in that energy and you can feel good about your accomplishment or whatever the case is, whatever situation it is. Somebody made you feel good or whatever it is. I'm going to keep going because that is only going to transcend in the universe. And it's not even just for myself, it is so people can know you matter. What just happened into your life was a very important thing, and I'm going to uplift it even more. I'm going to add even more energy to how you're already feeling. Why not do that? Why not make somebody feel better about their situation, what they got going on, whatever the case is? Why not? What is the expense of making someone feel good? What is it? But I just answered my own question in my brain. The expense of making someone feel good, there's only an expense when you don't feel good about yourself, which is why doing inner work is so valuable. It's beyond valuable. Take that time for yourself. Be still, create time to where you can love yourself and you can be knowledgeable about yourself, because then that creates and it sets a standard of what you will allow and not allow in your energy field. And when you do that, even when things do come into your energy field, you have the discernment within yourself to know how to handle it. So it's not going to throw your day off. It's not going to make you resent certain people or do petty things so you can you can feel better about the situation. I feel like I got even because I did. And I have an example. I was getting a massage not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and shout out to my devotion, shout out God. But I'm just even just from a human standpoint. So I'm getting a massage. I only have 45 minutes. I had another obligation I needed to get to. I it, the only the smallest amount of time that I can do for the massage was 60 minutes. I only have 45 minutes. So I asked the guy who I know is the owner. I've been there a few times. And I'm thinking my rapport, like, I'll be good. I make sure the tip good, everything's good. So I said, hey, is there any way I can just do 45 minutes? He was like, no, I'm sorry. I will have to charge you for 60 minutes. So my knee jerk reaction, I cannot lie, even with a pure heart. I'm rationalizing in my brain because I'm an operations guy, I'm a numbers guy. So I'm literally doing the calculations in my brain. I'm like, okay, it costs this much for an hour. So what would I have paid for 45 minutes? Okay, doing the calculation. Okay, sounds good. All right, so I'm not gonna tip, and I'm just gonna have that number for the 45 minutes because in my brain I feel like I was wrong. Like, why can't you give me a discount if I'm doing literally 25% less of the service that you're charging me full price for? But this is me trying to get even, trying to make sure that I am not wronged out of this transaction, out of this situation. And I just reflected. I'm telling you, shout out to the shout out to the devotional, but I'm just from a human standpoint. I felt wronged, so I wanted to get even. And then I did a lot of reflecting. Why would I be taking away someone, the person who gave me the service of the massage? Why am I taking her tip away? What did she do to me? She didn't do anything to me. That is not the way that it should be structured. But I feel like I'm in that moment. I'm like, you know what? I want to get even, and it wasn't even from a place of lack. It was from a place of feeling betrayed. I've gone to this place a bunch of times. Why can't they discount me? No, I would be not doing the right thing in the world, in the universe, by giving her less of a tip so I can feel even with the service that I got. So what did I do? I paid full price and tipped exactly what I would do as if it was 60 minutes. That but it takes that discernment. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, this happened a few days ago and my knee jerk reaction was to get even. I'm not perfect at all. But this shows how important discernment is, and surrounding yourself with people that are doing the right thing, that are not trying to get even, and knowing the entire ecosystem of it. I can't walk away from this situation without doing something. I have to pay. So, and I I I want to do the right thing genuinely, but I'm trying to rationalize why this is the right thing for me so I don't feel betrayed and I don't feel like I'm on the short end of this transaction. No. Paid full price and I feel so much better. I wouldn't have felt as good going not giving this lady who has just worked so hard to give me a proper massage, everything that I needed. Why would I do her dirty? That's not right. It's not right. And I'm now understanding that I just need to do the right thing and put myself in a position to do the right thing. And I learned my lesson. If I have 45 minutes only, I'm not going there. And it's not from a place of malice, but it's from a place of maybe someone else can give me a discount or actually just do 45 minutes for that exact cost. So just because I did the right thing out of that transaction, I would say I did the right thing by paying full price and tipping just like how I should have, but that doesn't mean I have to keep putting myself in that situation. And this is something I have honestly been battling. It's okay, what am I going to allow compared to what am I not going to allow and get away from that situation. And I truly think it's a balance, and it comes to a point of your energy field and your consistent energy field. So if it's people that you constantly work with, there has to be a level of boundaries that have to get set. You might have to have a conversation with someone that's not good, but if your heart is in the right place, if your intentions are in the right place, you should be at peace with the situation. And if the stuff keeps happening, then you have to put, like what Mel Robbins says, let them. You have to put yourself in a situation to where you're not allowing that to truly affect you or throw your day off. But people that you don't necessarily have to deal with all the time, you don't have to deal with them all the time. So you don't have to deal with all whatever the case is, however you felt wronged, or the transaction, the interaction was not mutual. It was parasitic in a sense because you feel like you lost, but someone else won. You don't have to deal with that all the time. It is up to you and what you will allow in your energy field to you have that control of you allowing whatever externally to infect and affect your internal. You have that control, and having a proper level of discernment and knowing how valuable you are as a person and how much you love yourself, then you're gonna know yourself. And by you knowing yourself, you're going to build that standard and have those boundaries to where you won't allow people to do things to you. You won't. And it goes so many ways. Like in my brain, it just popped up like a relationship. relationships, I feel like, go so far, and then one person realizes that this isn't right, this isn't the person for me, or whatever the case is, this isn't the right situation for me, because they don't have enough self love for themselves and self understanding. So they let things slide, or they don't know what their standard is. So they allow this person to string along with their life, maybe because they feel alone, they don't want to be alone, whatever the case is. So they allow this person to feel like they truly care about them, they're going to be with them forever, whatever the case is. And that person now throws the bomb on them of, hey, this isn't going to work out. And you're like, where did this come from? It came from a place of not understanding who that person really was. Because if they understood who they really were, they wouldn't have allowed it to egg on this long. And it's so valuable to spend that time with yourself and make sure that you're okay. You have to be okay first before you help anyone at an efficient rate. I'm not saying that be selfish at every point, at every turn. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, you getting up in the morning and spending that time with yourself, being in solitude, and making sure that you're okay and capable of handling your responsibilities and stewarding the resources that you have been given, then you are truly allowing yourself to be capable of helping the other person at the most efficient rate. It makes it very difficult if you skip that step. And then that's where, again, that resentment comes in, because you feel energy depletion because you haven't put yourself in the position to gain the energy yourself. So now you're depending on this person to give you that energy back, when that person could be just completely depleted of energy, and that's why they need you to help them. But if you haven't helped yourself first, if you haven't given yourself that unconditional love and that unconditional energy that you can lean on when there's a energy depletion in someone else that you are now giving energy to them for, then you are capable of handling yourself and anybody else that might can use the help. And this has been a very tough thing for me, because I want to make sure the world is good. And it used to be at the expense of myself, genuinely. I wouldn't care if I missed the gym or missed these marks to take care of myself, because I wanted to make sure that whoever I was helping or assisting is okay and is fulfilled. But it was at the expense of my own self love and energy and happiness, because I wasn't putting myself in a situation to be efficiently there for them, which creates that resentment, which creates that depletion, and that harboring of thoughts like, why am I even doing this? This is not helping me become better, because I'm not putting myself first. Because you have to make sure that you're okay. And even in the business realm, it that is important too. You can seek out all these clients and try to find all these customers all you want, but if the internal system, the foundation of the system is not set up properly, then you're going to miss marks, and you might feel like you're ready, but you're not going to be ready for these opportunities that you're looking for. It has to be a very good balance. And honestly, it might not be a good balance. It might have to be focusing more on the internal foundation of the business and allowing word of mouth, allowing the product, the production, to show how professional and how put together this business is. And then that is going to create a ripple effect of people that want your service and want your product. If you're spending way too much time trying to convince people of who you are and what you do, it's going to be a lot of energy. And not everybody is going to want to listen to your words. What do they say? They say action speaks louder than words. And I believe that with all my being, because it's not what you say, it's how you feel. And how you feel is going to transcend how you act. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, if you feel a certain way, that's how you're going to act, especially if you don't have control over your feelings. And that's why that emotional regulation is very important. That emotional intelligence is very important. But it takes a level of inner work to even understand why it's important. Because if you're constantly spazzing out on people or making people feel uncomfortable or power tripping people, God complexing people, you and I feel like the majority of people don't even realize that they're doing it, but it's because they're feeding the ego so much, and that ego is an entity. It's also energy, and it's a scientific law that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Let me explain how that applies to life and everything. When you are developing this energy field of ego, it the ego exists whether you care about it or not, whether you like it or not. But there's two types of egos. We already discussed this. But as that ego is already there, so it hasn't been created. It can get enhanced though. So you're enhancing it. So now it's this entity that is, it can't be destroyed. It can't be created or destroyed. But a part that is maybe misconstrued in that energy can't be created or destroyed is the fact that you can transmute this energy into something else. You can transmute that ego into a positive ego. You can transmute the false ego into real ego, into a vulnerability state to where you are able to be vulnerable and have these hard conversations and accept your faults and accept the fact that you don't know everything, you can't do everything. And I believe that is beyond valuable and important in a business world, especially a business world that has multiple people involved, because people want people want to know that you are a human being, that you're not perfect, especially in a leadership role. Because if I will be way more uncomfortable not as a non-leader, as a team member, I would be so much more uncomfortable if I believed in my brain that the leader is perfect, if the leader can't do anything wrong. Now, and this from a business state. I know I'm a believer. I believe the Most High, there's nothing He can't do. He is perfect. So there's no there, but there is a little bit of fear in there, but there's more love than fear. Anyways, that's also a whole nother topic. But from the business world, if I will feel like I need to walk on eggshells at all times because there's a standard of perfection that I know in my heart, in my mind, I will not be able and capable of upkeeping. I will not be able to be perfect all the time. I will not be able to be my most efficient self on time, ready to go, serving everyone at the high, like it, at every time. That's not possible. It's not. We are human. We have things that go on in our lives. We have life situations where things just happen and you have truly no control over it, even though you prepared and did everything you were supposed to do. There are so many things that defy perfection in human beings. So someone putting on this mask that they're perfect, you are only creating an ecosystem of fear, because these people will not want to make a mistake. They will feel like in their hearts that a mistake is death, is an is not is there's no turning back from it, because there's a standard that's so high of I I'm able to do anything. I'm the most perfect being. I can do anything. And then you gotta ask, if you can really do anything, why do you need me? If you're this perfect being, why do you need me? And this makes me think about, this is a whole nother topic, but I feel like it's a good lead in. That get rich quick scheme, that get rich quick ideology. So many courses, so many things on Instagram, social media, whatever the case is, Google Ads, that is saying, oh yeah, all you got to do is this. And in 2 weeks or in a month, you're going to be rich. You're going to be wealthy. You're going to do all these things. you got to ask these people this. Two things. One, why aren't you a gazillionaire? Why aren't you printing money at all times? That's one. Two, why are you charging me for this course? Oh, I get it. I'm at this certain level, this certain standard, so my words are valuable. My purpose has value to it. So yeah, that's why I charge. Why would you need to charge if there's an infinite money glitch that you're pretty much talking about? It reminds me of video games. Like once you have that cheat code of the video game, you're unstoppable. You're unlimited. So why why are you not unlimited when it comes to your bank account or when it comes to all of these things? Why do you need to now charge other people to get to this? Why can't this be your service to the world to make sure people are good? That shows you there's something to that. There's a loophole. There's a catch. And it's just nothing is a shortcut. Nothing that is worth it is easy, truly. It if everyone would do it. And I know this is such a known thing. I truly feel like people miss out on that, and they truly believe that they can do shortcuts and find certain things that they don't need to do at the highest level. And I'm not saying to reinvent the wheel all the time. And that's why I truly believe in education. And Erica Badu, shout her out, but she said in Apple Tree while she was in the beginning of the song, knowledge is infinite. And really process that. It is truly infinite. Once I know something, I can never go back. Now I can have neglect and know it but not practice it, but that doesn't mean I don't know it. And we live in a world of misinformation and neglect of actual information and education that is the truth. We and a distortion of people that do know the information but has something in their heart that isn't positive, isn't serving people, is a power complex that they safeguard the information or they put out and project a different reality of that information, which makes it toxic because you see this person of this high statute, of this high status, and they're giving out information that is falsified or misdirected to where people are now listening but not gaining the true knowledge and wisdom that that person gained. And that we're in a true epidemic of that right now, which is why I feel like it's so important to have people that are willing to learn and grow in your environment, in your community, because there are so many sources of information. So by you finding this source, your friend finds this source, your family member finds this source, you create that community, and they're all different sources, but they all have pretty similar meaning. There is a level of truth to that, especially in the positive realm. If it's something that is going to serve people and make people a better person, it's got to be truth to it. So to know how important it is to be in a collective consciousness of positivity, of self motivation, of self love, of people that are truly trying to strive to be a better version of themselves to create a better community, a better ecosystem, a better world, then you're only going to put yourself in a position to be great. And to to circle back on the original thought, you don't know how these hardships in your life and things that might not align the way you want it to align, you don't know how this is going to truly make the world a better place. How many people quit or resent life and go down a self-destructive route because they hit a roadblock and that roadblock has consumed them to where they give up. What if you jumped over that roadblock or found a different route to not hit that roadblock anymore? Now you see that person behind you. I'm thinking about it from a visual sense. You see that person as you are past the roadblock. You look behind, you look in the rear view. You're like, oh wow, that person is at that roadblock, that same roadblock I was at. okay, wait, hold on, let me hit a U-turn and let me show this person how to not hit this roadblock because I know how to not hit it. Now, that I'm not saying that your exact route is going to give this person the answer. I'm not saying that. But let's say, and I'm thinking from a visual sense, but let's say that the map that they had was old. So that's what put them on this roadblock. If you give them the knowledge to know that there is a new map, not even that the same route that you took it takes you past the roadblock, but there's just a new map. What if that person thought that this was the only map to get to the destination they need to get to, and the person that's already gotten past the roadblock looks back and is like, no, 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 there's a new map, or there's an alternative route. Then you have now given this person new discernment to try to figure it out. It might not be exactly how you did it, but it is an opportunity for them to open their mind and realize, okay, the way I had it and the work that I put in to try to develop it and get to this point wasn't all the way accurate, and it is not working in this moment of life, because maybe that old map worked for someone and they didn't reach that roadblock. But now, as time develops, as people develop, as the world develops, now there is that roadblock. It is so important to not miss how valuable the struggles are in your life. And it's only going to make you better. If you're on the other side breathing, you're a better human because of that. You have resilience, you have persistence, you persevered, you're a stronger individual. By you being this stronger individual, you are only putting yourself in the position and giving yourself the mindset to know that if I was able to get over this hump, then what hump is truly going to block me? And that's why I feel like it's so important to have a kind and genuine heart, and to have an open mind. An open mind to know that there might be somebody ahead of the path that you can listen to get you to get you closer to them. That open mind to see that person that's next to you and just drive in the same pace, because both of y'all are able to help each other through this route. And then having someone that might be behind you at that roadblock, and for you to give that helping hand and make sure that they're okay. Having this ecosystem is only going to make the world a better place. And we, the elites, whatever you want to call it, the people that are so power hungry, it is at the expense of humans, do not care about that. As soon as they are at this level, they're not turning back. How can we fix that? How? Me personally, I keep soul searching about this because I'm a humanitarian. I don't want it to be like this all the time. My conviction is leading by example in community. When you lead by example and you show the testimony of being a good person, and how all I had to do was have a good heart and persevere, and I got through this. From a spiritual standpoint, all I had to do is trust in the Most High, and I got through this. Giving another person a perspective that it is not just you in this world. You have help. You have help. And with a level of humility and vulnerability, it allows for humans to actually be humans and not create this God complex of there's nothing I can do wrong. If I explain and express my vulnerabilities, then I'll be deemed as weak. I'll be deemed as insufficient. That's an illusion, and that's a delusion, because you are now being delusional to the aspect of your humanity. You're not perfect. You will never be perfect. But if you put this mask of perfection, then you will never be able to solve problems that you genuinely have. and you're going to harbor them. You're going to again mask them. You're not going to put yourself in a situation to actually grow from it. And then that one problem is going to infect another problem in your life. It's just going to keep building because you haven't solved that problem yet. It's one of those things that it's an infection. And if you don't deal with that infection, like if I get a cut and I don't put that neosporin on it or that alcohol, and it's going to hurt. Trust me, it's going to hurt. But if I don't do that, it's going to get worse. It's going to get infected. So going through that pain of discovery, of knowing that you're not capable of handling this, or being in that vulnerable state, you can be open to a solution. And when you're open to that solution, you're going to be in a better state than feeling like you don't need to deal with this, because whatever the case is, you feel like this is beneath you, or you feel like something else is going to make it better, or this is just not something I need to care about right now. That wound, that scar is going to swell and it's going to get infected. And then when that happens, and I hate to be this descriptive and graphic, but let's say my the cut on just my finger up here, it gets so infected that now I have to cut off the whole finger. Sorry, that's so graphic, but just bear with me. You have now made a situation so much worse and so much more. You have magnified a situation because you didn't deal with that small cut. What small cuts are in your life that if you attack it now, if you solve it now, it's not going to bleed and infect other things in your life, your relationship, anything. Because if you built this muscle of ego and you can't be wrong, you can't do this, it's only gonna be in all aspects of your life. So you can miss out on these opportunities. You can block that channel of fulfillment and of opportunity because you feel like if you act on this, and if you feel like this is, if I am vulnerable, then I'm going to be deemed as weak and nobody will respect me, or nobody will respect my hierarchy. But that's why the foundation is so important and your community is important. If somebody walks in knowing that this is a good, genuine soul with vulnerability, with humility, then they're able to be themselves. And that's what we do at Snowy. We are aware that communication is key for Snowy. We are aware that things are going to happen in your life. But by just giving us the information and the knowledge beforehand, then we're going to make the right accommodations. You're not going to get condemned if something happened to your life that you necessarily didn't have control over. Now you can't work Snowy. Now, it will get to a certain point where it's like, okay, if this keeps happening and it's last minute, then it's like, okay, this might be a character flaw. But life happens, and we're not discarding that. We're not disregarding that. We know that it's possible, and we know it's possible because it happens on our end. How many I can I can count on so many fingers how, and it took a level of preparation and understanding the system, and also just the level of competence that we were at with the business. But we had so many times where something happened with our trailer. The wheel of the trailer went out. Or hold on. Hey, that light really helped. Hold on, y'all. That light really helped. Yes, yes, yes. Bear with me, stream. Appreciate the love and support. And I hope I can get back to what I was talking. Say I'm in control. All right, there we go. But yeah, I can go on and on, but things happening. Oh, our trailer. It, we had a tire go out one time. Our truck, I was in a four-way street, and as soon as I hit the red light, I felt it die on me. I couldn't go any further, and I'm literally close, like almost inside of the four-way street, like in the intersection. I mean, I can go on and on about the things that have happened, but we come from a place of integrity and humility and vulnerability that we're able to grow from these situations. I can easily blame the rock on the road that caused that tire, or easily blame the gas at Quick Trip that killed the whatever the case is that made the truck die. But no, we have put systems in place so that doesn't happen again. Because there's a level of ownership that you can take at any point in your life. I don't care what it is. You can take at least 1% of ownership. And by doing that, you are genuinely taking proprietorship of your life. And I'm not saying to own other people's faults and what they did to you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying create the proper discernment to know that you did have a part in how this happened. And kind of what I was saying about the relationship aspect, by you not having the self love or the self respect or the self knowledge of yourself, it's hard for you to create discernment in certain situations, in certain relationships. So, let's say because of a lack of self love, you just want to be loved, you just want to be accepted, you don't want to be alone. You're going to have a lower standard of what you will allow. You will. And it's it just transcends. If I let this slide, then what's to say I'm not going to let this slide of the same scale? I just want to be loved. I just want to be cared about, and then you create this delusion in your brain that this person's human. It is what it is. I'd rather deal with this than be alone. But why not invest in yourself, invest in your internal, appreciate the solitude, grow from the solitude, look in that mirror and have that conversation. Talk to yourself. Make yourself feel seen by yourself, not just by everyone else. Put the things in place, the things in motion, so you can be a better version of yourself, not to impress anyone else. Not, oh, I need to buy this thing so this person can see me. Or I need to do this and I need to break my back for this person so I can get this opportunity. Or so I can gain this rapport so this person can trust me for whatever I need in my life. Why not just have the internal abundance in yourself, in the energy that is already existing in you? Why not use that to then project on your life situation? Then you are truly in control. It reminds me of Todd. Todd, our lead gospel singer. He says, and you're in control. Like, and he's not talking about us. Of course, he's talking about the Most High. But I'm telling you, tapping into your internal world and your internal bliss, your internal peace, you're going to not allow for other people to truly affect and infect your life. It's so important to know how important you are. I will not ever stop saying that, because by you knowing how important you are, by you knowing how important your life situations are, the good things in your life, the bad things in your life, the ugly things in your life, to know this is an opportunity for me to help someone else or to help myself at a higher level, you're only going to transcend that ideology into the universe, into other mindsets, into a collective consciousness, into a community that is going to be receptive of it because they see your fulfillment. And that's why I'm telling you, leading by example is the solution. Because when someone that needs an external thing, substances, materialistic things, relationships, to fill that hole in themselves, and then they see you, a person that is fulfilled by just being, by just existing, they're going to question everything about that. A true person that is tired, and Eckhart Tolle, he said it and shot him out. He said, a person stop inflicting pain on themselves when they're ready, when they're truly ready to stop being hurt. I know I butchered that completely, but it's true. When someone is truly ready to stop inflicting this pain on themselves, they're gonna make that change. It's at that climax of their life story of, man, I am tired of falling down this path. I'm so tired of it. And they see you walking in pure fulfillment, just existing. Are you so happy today? And it just happened. Then I just am. I am. Walks away. What do you mean I am? What do you mean? What does exist? How's my fulfillment? It's not anything material. It's not anything that you can tangibly tie your peace, your bliss, your happiness to. It's just existence itself. We all have been put on this earth for a reason. I believe that in my entire soul. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but I genuinely believe put on here for a true cause, for a true purpose, to make our lives the most efficient so we can help that person that's at that roadblock. What is the point of harboring all that we have learned, all that we have grown from, all the resources that we have consumed or gained in our situation, in our life situation, but genuinely, what is holding to ourselves? See value in that, see how we're getting replaced because of that, and we're in a collective consciousness of people that come from sources, and because they were into that lack mentality, that it transcends when they do have a lot of resources now. So, well, if I help this person, then I lose this amount of money or this status or whatever the case is. You're still in that lack mindset. That abundance mindset to reach a level of abundant resources, give it back. You have this mentality that there's nothing, especially if I have a good heart and good intentions, there's nothing that can take resources away. I'm going to be okay. Give this person this, or if I do this, it's a place of good intention, of understanding how the universe genuinely works. So I appreciate anybody who has tuned into this conversation. This is kind of a new thing, but just letting my mind flow and y'all get whatever possibly value to your life. I know I'm just want to steward so that I have the most efficient rate for that. Great night. Take care.